Hi, everyone. I am Audrey Kirschner, and this is Inkama's Marketing Strategies. And today is very special. One, it is our 100th episode of the entire podcast. So I'm really excited about that. And two, I have an amazing guest for you that I'm going to interview. We're going to have a conversation. Shannon and I are going to chat a little bit. So I want to introduce Shannon Crotty to you. And I'm going to read her bio. I know I don't normally do this, but you need to understand everything about Shannon so that you can um, really soak in this conversation that we're going to have. So, Shannon is a wife and mom of three, and she lives in Western Central Wisconsin. She is the founder and CEO of Polkadot Powerhouse, a global connection company for women. And I am a diamond dot. So I love Polkadot. She is also the founder and visionary of the Deep End Planner, as well as the author of the brand new book, No One is Peeing in the Deep End, a survival guide for launching a dream, right? All of us entrepreneurs know about launching a dream. And she's also a sought after speaker. I love hearing Shannon speak every chance I get. And she not only empowers audiences to be more authentic versions of themselves, but she also provides tools for them to rein in their focus to allow them to more easily reach their goals and launch those dreams. So Shannon, I've been excited since we scheduled this to have this conversation with you, just me and a couple hundred of our intimate entrepreneurial friends out there.
Audrey, I'm so thrilled to be here. I feel so honored that you asked me, and yeah, I can't wait to get to our chat.
Yes. All right. So first thing I want to chat about is your book and the planner. Um, Tell me a little bit about, authoring a book is heavy duty work. I mean, you've done so much in your career. So why the book and what inspired you?
That's a great question. What inspired me is being this unlikely founder, and all of the things that I wish someone had pulled me aside and let me know were normal things to happen in the process of launching a dream. The normal feelings, the normal reception you get from others, the normal obstacles that come in your path. Not that it would have changed our journey or my journey, but just knowing those things are part of the process. Because I think that we see on social media and stuff, we see the highs and we see the start, but we don't see that messy middle area to know that what we're going to come up against is quite normal for the process.
Absolutely. I love that you call yourself an unlikely founder. I feel the same way. I've had my business for 12 years now. So yeah, that messy in the middle, this getting to the 100th episode, there was a lot that went in between. Um, so I think it's great that you have something out there with all those tips and ideas, but also letting people know like the journey's messy. Um, and gosh, what I wouldn't give to know just some of the things that I know now 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Oh, would have made it so much easier. Um, so let's talk about the planner. So what does the planner do? Like, what can you
So it's a 3-month strategic planner and it comes with a 12-month calendar. So you can plan ahead. But I'm a visionary with no detail skills, or I should say no detail skills, but I have to build systems to make it look like I have these detail skills. And so I was a planner junkie, right? I think I tried most of the major planners. And what I would have to do in is I would have to build in like paste or staple pages in, things of that nature, or I'd have to have two or three planners going at one time because none of them had all of the aspects that I needed. So what would happen over time, because I love planner, and I'm a believer in setting yourself up for success and the way that a planner can help you accomplish that. And I would talk about planner and someone would say, "What do you use?" "Oh, I use my own." "Can I see it?" "No, no." "Oh, no, you know, that's my planner." And I'm not artistic. So my initial planner was very clip arty, off center with Word doc that Shannon made. And over time, I believe when you keep hearing something, when it keeps coming back to you that you're supposed to pay attention, right? Enough people asked over time that it felt really scary about that. Huh, maybe I could just have some people beta test it and see if it's beneficial for other people. So I put out an application. We got like 80 applicants. Dwindled that down to like 18 dot sisters, and they beta tested and they would give us input, and we would revise it till we finally thought that we got something that met the objectives that I was out for and also met some of the demands of the general public. So it's a strategic planner. It's all about eliminating distraction, having everything in one book so that, it has social media, it has fitness, it has everything in there. So, because for me, every time you would change a book, I would lose momentum. I would get distracted. I would start to hear the itty bitty shitty committee in my head. That's a Nicola's Keeper phrase. I would hear that starting to throw in things I didn't need. So the more that we can eliminate distraction and get down exactly what we want into one system, the more we can kind of create and keep momentum and stay focused on where we're going. And I did the 3 months because here's the thing. You know this from what you're doing. When you start out, you think you know what Z is going to look like, but guess what? In 2 or 3 months now, it's changed direction. So what would happen for me is I would get a year planner, nothing against those. There's a place and time for those. I would get a year planner and I would spend all this time and energy getting everything filled out, every plan developed. But by month 3, it was junk because what it changed direction and what I'd planned no longer was relevant. So now I'd have to buy a whole nother year planner and put more time and energy into doing that. And guess what? That was only good for 3 months too. So ours is a 3 month strategic planner. And then you reevaluate and you thought, you buy another one and you thought the next 3 months, because that's really the most time that I've found that you can dedicate that intense focus before that dream starts to change direction on you.
And you're so right. And especially for brand new business owners, that changes week to week. They're like, oh, I think this is going to work. And they throw it out there like, that's not going to work. I've got to do this, that, and the other. So it's this winding path. It was like that for me in the very, very beginning. Like, I'm going to do this. Um, and I love the 3 month because I think the biggest barrier for new business owners is that you ask them to plan out a year. They don't even know what they're going to do next week. And you're asking them to plan so far ahead. So actually in previous podcasts, I'm like, listen, no. Go a month, go 2 months, goals, not even just plans, but your goals. Like, what do you want to accomplish? Like, don't try to go so far out. No one knows what that looks like. So I think that's great. I love that you built it and not a business coach or someone who's highly organized, because I, the way it flows is so different, right? Because there's different brain patterns that people have. So I think that's really, really cool. Um, and it's funny that you mentioned you're like, things would change and you throw it out. I like my planner's digital with an Apple Pen and an iPad. Like literally, I erase whole things and start from scratch. So that is perfect. That is so perfect. Um, so I now are the two designed to work together, or were they just two different um project plans in your head that kind of ran in parallel? Because I know they both recently launched.
They can be used separately or together. A lot of the principles that are in the book, things that I ran across as a person launching a dream, are things that are built into the planner because, you have to have a strategy around those things when they show up. So there's a lot of intertwining concepts, but you can read the book without having used the planner. You can use the planner without having read the book. So
Awesome. I had a feeling like if I were going to do it, I'd read the book, get the planner, and I would just do everything as I'm inspired by the book. Speaking of which, in the show notes, I'm going to put links to both the book and the planner directly to your website, the links that I found on your website. So for everybody listening, if you want to read the book, get the planner, go to Shannon's website. Everything is in the show notes, so that you can take those in. So now let's talk about polka dots. One of my favorite subjects, actually. I love being a dot. And it's funny, I'm not a girly girl, right? I am not a let's bring all the girls together. I was the one in high school looking at the girly girls going, oh, I don't like you people. I'm going over here with the jocks. But I realized I got to a certain point in my career. I was like, well, I'm surrounded by way too many guys. I need at least one girlfriend. So I decided to join Polka Dots, and I'm really excited because I feel like I found my non-girly girly group of female entrepreneurs, which is awesome. So tell us a little bit about why, how you started Polka Dots and especially how it's different from other networking organizations. I know how it's different, but I want people to hear that from you.
Okay, great. So I'm going to give you the condensed version of how we started because I know the podcast, they look want to talk about other things too. But I was a transplant. I moved from Oklahoma to Wisconsin for a man. And I realized when I got here, I didn't know how to make adult friends. I didn't know how to make friends. I was in the same hometown my whole life growing up, and I'd spent the night at someone's house in second grade, and that's how you made friends. But once I was away from that security, I realized that I didn't know how. And so when I got up here, long story short, I just went through this huge period of disconnection that I know now I needed to have gone through. And then jumping forward, I launched a women's magazine. I didn't intend to. That's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother story. But I launched a women's magazine that was a lot like Polkadot, positive, really amazing women, but in print. And over time, we started to hear from readers like, this is great, but how do I actually meet women like this? Like, how do I stop reading about them and how do I meet them? And here's the thing, I'm an ambivert. I'm a cross between an introvert and an extrovert. And my easy button is to watch things from the outside. My easy button is to watch it from a distance. So I was really thrilled and grateful to have access to people through the magazine. But I didn't know how to tell people to connect to people in their life because I was struggling with that myself, right? In the meantime, my only sibling, Tina, passed. And Tina, I grew up in a house with a lot of secrets, and Tina was my safe place. Tina was one of the few relationships that I could breathe in. And when Tina passed, I was kind of lost. And that was about the same time I had the magazine. And so I have pop rock brain. And so that means I have a lot of ideas, 200 tabs open at all time. I have a lot of ideas, but they don't necessarily go together. And about the time that I was starting to hear from readers, asking how to meet women like this, and I didn't know what to tell them. My sister Tina, who had passed 2 years prior, had sent the name to me. So I was in the car crying and about something unrelated. And I was praying to my sister Tina. And I said, Tina, I just need your help and I need your guidance. And all of a sudden, the name Polkadot Powerhouse was in my head. So I knew I was supposed to do something. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So, with a very skeptical staff, I announced one day that we were going to start this group under the magazine. And we had 100 people. It was going to be internet launch. We had 100 people. We plastered the magazine with ads, right? 100 people say they were going to join. We get to launch day and only one person joined. And even for 2 months after, we only had the one paid member who at the time didn't know. And hell no, I was not going to tell her she was only paid member. And the staff's like, you got to call this thing, right? Like, that's a bad idea. I said, I know you're right, but something in my gut is telling me that we're not supposed to quit. And I'm going to trust myself. Maybe I don't even know if I'd ever said that before. I'm going to trust myself. So, we, at the end of the first year, we had 30 members. We are here now 10 and a half years after we launched with right at 3,000 members across the US, UK, and Canada, trusting that 300 feet at a time, right? The distance of headlines. When people ask, one of the keys to our success, it's always one of them is just trust, being scared out of your mind, but just trusting 300 feet, trusting that, okay, I've been given this much knowledge and I can move forward. But Polkadot is about having a army of supporters, push agents, friends, people, mentors, um, people to look up to, people to advise, women of all ages, races, backgrounds, locations, at all parts of your life. We started, it was mainly merely a business group because it was advertisers of the magazine. Over time, it's evolved into more about the sisterhood. We still have a kind of a heavy business component, but it's about, okay, well, what happens when you sell that business? Also, what happens when you retire? Or maybe you're just getting into business. Can you not be a member then? No, we need women. We need supporters and friends and all of that in all parts of our life. And so it's again, it has a heavy business component, but I believe what serves you in one area of your life serves you in all areas of your life. Sometimes I'll have someone say, I don't have a business. Can I join? Let me tell you something. If you are in a household, you own a business. You may not be getting paid what you should. You may not have a title. You own a business. If you get yourself to a job every day, you are your business, right? So can you take what people say in a business sense and apply it to you personally? Can you take what people say about to you personally, like personal speaker, and apply it to your business? You absolutely can. So for me, the community is about being seen, being accepted. And when you are seen and accepted in that way and are able to breathe, it frees up all that stress energy to be in your zone of genius and do what you were brought here to do.
I love
It
that.
changes the
I
game.
love it does. It absolutely changes the game. And what's interesting for me is that, I don't go out and just make friends, right? I'm a business owner. I meet other business owners and then decide if I want them to be my friends. And so most networking organizations aren't built that way, but I feel like Polka Dots is. Like you can be like, okay, I want friends, I want business associates, I want a little bit of both. Um, so that's, I think, the unique quality of it. And then, kind of bringing this back to the entrepreneur part of my brain is like, I felt what you said, right? One person to 3,000. That is a huge journey, right? And that took 10 years. Not everybody realizes that. Like we talked about in the beginning, all of a sudden they see is like, oh, I had this channel and it blew up. It's like, I don't know if there's any such thing as blowing up. I think it's grit and determination. So, what kept you motivated, right? When you got from 1 to 30 to the next milestone, like, because for me, there's peaks and valleys in between. It's like, oh, this is going to work. Oh, it's not going to work. It's, all those things. What kept you motivated throughout all of that to get you where you are today with all of us dots behind you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think all of us, even the people that you're like, man, that would be the dream, right? To have a business like that. We are all riding that tightrope between sheer terror and total exhilaration every day, all day. And an email, a phone call, anything can throw it in one direction or another. Nobody that's in a successful position, success does not eliminate that, right? Success makes that different. It brings it to a different level. But I've had people come up to me at conference and say, I can't wait to be where your business is. So there's not any stress. And I'm like, what? Good luck with
It's
all
just,
that.
yeah, it's a different level of terror.
Yeah, it's a different kind of stress. It's different decisions than you have now, but it's not going to go away. So that's the first thing that we need to get rid of. But I also think motivation can sometimes be we don't have it, and so we're looking at that and feeling like a failure. I think it's more about consistency. It's about saying, okay, I have this fear and I have two options. I can continue to go forward and trust, or I can crumble and end it all. And sometimes, sometimes it's time to end it, right? Like sometimes that's the right decision. But most of the time, your brain doesn't know whether you're being chased by an alligator or if you're just afraid of the next move. And so that feeling is the same, right? And so there's a lot of people who think I have this feeling because I'm doing it wrong or it's not meant to be. Maybe, or it may be that you haven't you learned to use fuel as fear. Fear is fuel. Sorry. And so that's what you need to learn to do. You need to learn to trust yourself enough to understand that we all go through it. It's part of the process so for me, it wasn't about motivation. I very, very seldom had motivation. I had more fear though of giving up than I had of moving forward. And so for me, it was always about understanding that when we're given a dream that's bigger than us, you know, you aren't given a dream unless you are meant to move it forward. It doesn't mean it's going to end like you think. It doesn't mean you won't need to work with other people, but you can trust that if a dream keeps coming to you, like it won't leave you alone. It needs you just like you need it. And there are people, sometimes I think, especially for women, I don't know about men, but I can only speak for women. A lot of women I talk to, they don't want to, they fill their time with distractions and things aren't supposed to be doing, things they don't want to do because they don't want to disappoint anybody. But the truth of the matter is that if you're given a dream that's very impactful, there's all these people that are depending on you that you're supposed to impact to make the right decisions. And that doesn't need to be stressful. It needs to be like, look, the more distractions I fill my time with, the less I'm going to be able to do and impact the way I'm supposed to. So do I have the courage to say no? for the people and myself that I'm supposed to impact in the future.
Absolutely. And I think you're right. We as women entrepreneurs, we start our businesses for different reasons. And it's usually to help support, bolster others in whatever it is that they're trying to do. We do a lot of service-based businesses. And, in talking through that, they all want to like move that needle for people. Otherwise, it's like, okay, no, I'm just going to go be an employee. And I've sat on both sides of that fence. I've been the employee, I've been like, I'm not moving any needle anywhere. I'm just pushing rocks in a garden. So I think that's an important piece of what I heard you say is that, it's not about getting this one thing to this level of numbers. It's really about who are you impacting and helping. But sometimes it's hard to see that without saying, "Oh, I just moved this a little bit further." You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think sometimes when that happens, and maybe it's just, different people using different words. For me,
Yeah.
motivation is consistency. For me, when I found fear, I would look for evidence that things were working, right? Some days that's
Oh,
not
I
very
love
much, right?
that.
Some days,
Right.
for me, when I felt fear, I would look for evidence that it was affecting someone, that there was a path ahead, things of that nature. When I was overwhelmed, I strategized. It's like, what tools can I give myself? Because here's the thing, and maybe your viewers are dealing with this, maybe you're dealing with this. When you're at the top, there's no one with you. I mean, there's no one to vent to, right?
Right.
Vents vents go up, not down. So if you're feeling and when you're trying to empower your team, you're trying to be authentic, but you also don't want to let them know, I'm scared out of my mind, right?
Hmm.
So it's like, who do you go to that to? And that's a whole nother discussion. There's other CEOs, groups, founders, leaders that you can go to. But in the meantime, you have to pick your own self up. And so what tools can you put in place? Understanding yourself, we're all different, right? For me, again, fear was going to stop me if I didn't find ways to find evidence that it was working, which helped me to trust that 300 feet. For me, when I'm overwhelmed, if I don't work on strategy, I freeze like a deer in the headlights. So what tools, and your gut always knows. It's amazing that your gut knows. Your gut knows you and what you need is going to be very different than what I need. Your gut knows you and what you need. And, if you ask people, Tony Robbins, such a wonderful speaker, he has a saying, if I ask you and you say, I don't know. Well, if you did know, what would the answer be? Because guess what? You always know the answer if you'll get quiet and listen and trust yourself. The answer to all these dilemmas is sitting inside you, waiting for you to hear it.
I love that. And it's so true. Um, I love the evidence piece because, as a marketer, I'm about data, right? I like numbers. I find some comfort in them, right? When I see the number go up versus down, I get to make a decision. How do I keep letting it go up? How do I stop it from going down? That's evidence. Like as you're saying this, for other people, that evidence is an email, a phone call. It's that little nagging thing, or not nagging, but you ever have that feeling like when you do something and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that was it. Like you get that burst of energy. That's evidence too. So I think, like you said, it depends on your personality. You've got to figure out what your evidence is. But I love that when you're afraid, that's when you move forward, not backward.
Right?
I think that's great. So for our women entrepreneur out there, talk a little bit about the different things that Polkadot offers, both people thinking about becoming entrepreneurs, because we're in the age of the side hustle, which I think is amazing. People have regular jobs, people are staying at home, they want to contribute, they have that need, right, to do something. But a lot of times they don't know where to start. Um, so I think Polkadots is for a great place to start, right? Because you can actually find help and people there that'll be like, oh, no, here's how you start. Here's how you do it, right? Let's be buddies. Let's do this together. So talk about a bunch of the different things that we do in polka dots that could help these brandy new people out there.
Absolutely. So it really depends on where you're at in the journey, what you're going to seek. But what we do is we provide ways for you to find what you're seeking. So we have online meetings, we have local chapters, we have in-person meetings. We have annual celebration. We have a members Facebook group where members can connect. We have a showcase group where you can talk about the program and offering, things of that nature. We have a website where you can connect with other members. And so, depending on where your listeners are on their journey, they might need encouragement. You know, that old saying that we hear, 100 times a day, you are who you surround yourself with. You become who you focus on. And so, are you filling your circle with positive people who are moving forward in that trust and that are looking for evidence? Or are you filling your circle with people who are constantly doubting you or putting negative thoughts in your mind? Like that makes a huge difference. That's a lot about success too. And so, Polkadot is really about having this unlimited source of inspiration, of motivation, of evidence that's working for other people. And by the way, we're all made of the same blood, skin, whatever. If it's working for them, I can find a way for it to work for me, or I need a collaboration. I'll never forget, this was many years ago, but we were in the Facebook group, the members group, and someone was asking, hey, I want to learn how, I can't remember, it was something with editing. I want to learn how to edit something. And they said, does anybody have a resource or know anybody? And it was late and I went to bed. And the next morning I remembered it and I got curious and I went back to look. And at that point, and this was a newer member, like they'd only been a member a couple of months, and 84 people had commented, I'm going to connect you with someone. Here's a book you read. I'll reach out to you. I have some experience in this. And at the very end, the person who made the initial post said, I can't believe this. Why would all of you guys help me? I don't have anything to offer you and you barely know me. And someone commented, why wouldn't we? Right. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't we? The more success you surround yourself with, the more successful you are. So why wouldn't we help you, a
Right.
member of our community, be successful? Understanding that those ahead of, you always have people alongside of you who are maybe a few steps ahead or a few steps behind. We all have things to learn from each other in different parts of that journey. Why would we not help you? And that's really what the community is about, is having a say. Also, the same thing too. You talk about, you're a diamond dot. I love, one of the things about diamond dots is, okay, do you need to do a training? And oh, you screwed that one up? No problem. We've all fallen down many times today. It's having also a safe place to be vulnerable, to get things wrong sometimes, and knowing that it will not affect the way the people feel about you. They understand these are women who are changing the world and they understand what it looks like to do that. And that involves a lot of scraped knees. So it will not affect them. They will help you. Hey, yeah, I know that's not the way you wanted to have it done, but here's some tips on how to get it right the next time, right? Like we all had to start at some point, or I'm getting out of the game. And by the way, now all the people have moved out of my life, all the people I knew from business or what have you, I'm not going to have a relationship with anymore. You still have this army, this family of sisters. They're like, yeah, you're still valuable to us. We still see your importance and your value, and we still love you. So it's just having, for me at least, the less compartments I have to have mentally and to place people in, the better. And I was all the when I, and this unlikely business owner, this unlikely founder, you have this people over this and these people over this and over here and over here. Why can't I just have these people that are with me in all the parts? Like that's what Polkadot's about.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that story about the Facebook person because she's going to remember that. And at some point in her career, she's going to pay it forward. She's going to do the same thing for someone else, which is for me, that's a lot of what this is all about. Is like giving back to the community that gave so much to me. Um,
Absolutely.
so well, you know what? We have been chit chatting for a while. I know it never feels like it. I always get to this part and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're almost done here. We're just about out of time. So I want to start wrapping things up. Is there anything else you want to share with the listeners?
So I know your podcast really focuses on marketing. And I'm sure you guys have discussed this before, probably almost every episode. But to me, marketing is really about, is about messaging. And it's a reminder that everything, no pressure here, but all the things that you're doing, is it aligned with the message of who you are and what your business is? Because as a viewer, I only have a few seconds of attention. And so, I think a lot about marketing and a lot of things that I have really found beneficial are really asking me questions about the business, about me, about the vision that I want to send. and making sure everything falls into alignment with that.
And you know what, Shannon? It sounded like I paid you to say that because it's exactly how I talk about it. It's how I market my clients. Shannon did not get paid for this, but it is exactly the same message that gets sent out every single week on the podcast. So thank you so much for being on. I enjoyed our chat, our conversation so much.
Thank you, Audrey. This has been amazing. And thank you for your listeners for listening.
Absolutely. So here at Income, we love to give back to the business community. I provide a 45-minute free consultation to talk about anything you want. Could be about your fear, could be about your website. That time is for you with me. Just go to the website, income.com. That's inkyma.com, and click on the schedule a marketing evaluation. And we are going to be on the calendar together. If you have a quick question, you have an idea for a show, I love those. Go down to the contact form, fill it out. We respond to all of them. We also have the Marketing Masterminds YouTube channel where we walk you through step by step how to do things that are practical for your business so that you can keep moving it forward. There is also a newsletter that supports that. And we send out like little mini learning modules. So we'll do a video for Marketing Masterminds. We'll do a podcast. We'll do an article all around a specific topic. So you can go to the show notes and sign up for that as well. So I hope you found today's episode inspiring. That's what I am. I am inspired after this. If you did, please share it. There are other business owners that need that same inspiration that you do. So thank you so much for listening and watching, and have an amazing day.